What's going on, guys? It's Mr. Gray Photography here. Today, we're actually doing something a little bit different. I'm going to just go ahead and tell you guys what lens, if I had to choose one lens for the rest of my life, what lens would that be? The lens that I'm talking about right now is a 50mm lens. And the reason why the 50mm lens should be one of your favorite lenses that you should own. So I have used the 50mm lens. Where's my 50mm lens at? I have used this sucker right here. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Thank you, camera. I've actually used this lens and kit, the R5 and then the 50mm 1.2. I've used it in events. I've used it like weddings, headshots, which is different because you have to get a different focal length. You have to play around with the focal length a little bit differently. I've done landscape. I have done portrait, beautiful portraits, and I've done it once with street photography. That was a little interesting because the focal length is only 50mm, so you had to get a little bit closer than you really wanted to, but it works though. And the reason why it's very versatile, the 50mm, is because it's very close to what the eye can actually see. Not every photographer is going to love the 50mm like I do. I know some people who love the 35, I know some people who love the 85, the 100, the 7200. But if you can only capture one, if you can only have one lens for your whole entire career, still, I believe it is a 50mm. The most dreamiest bokeh, still don't know how to say that word, but you have the most amazing bokeh in the 50mm. You have the 1.8, 1.4, and the one that I have is a 1.2 aperture. And because it has such big aperture numbers, since I can go down to 1.2 aperture, this beast of a lens can shoot amazing shots in low light. I want to say it, it's one of the best starter lenses when you're just starting out in photography because of how low the aperture can go, how wide the aperture can go, and how cheap of a cost it can be. So I just looked it up today. On Amazon, you can actually grab the 51 RF for Canon RF for $139. That is all. I'm not saying that is all, but EF50 brand new on Amazon is only $125. But there's a lot of people on the marketplace selling them for a lot cheaper. So it has to be one of the best. Well, you can't find an 85, 1.8, 1.4 for something super cheap. I mean, not only is the 1.8 and 1.4 such good in lighting, such great in price tag, you can capture some of the best professional shots at 1.8 and 1.4. I mean, heck, on my 1.2, I'm not gonna say I rarely shoot on 1.2 or I always shoot on 1.2. I'm always shooting at 2.0, 1.8, 1.4. I'm always shooting around those areas of aperture anyways. 1.2, I do it for fun. Every once in a while, I do it for fun. The 1.4 and the 1.8 lens is so small and compact, it's super light, you barely even know it's there. Now, granted, this guy right here is a little bit heavier because it's it's the 1.2 and it's a red ring. So it is a little bit more heavier than the other ones, but just starting out, 1.8, 1.4 is perfect. So I've been using the 50mm lens for quite some time. One of the things that the 50mm lens kind of forces you to do is to actually become a better photographer because you have to actually think about your composition when you shoot. You can't rely on the zoom lens. You have to rely on your own body to move forward, move back, get different detailed shots with the 50mm. Because it's a fixed focal length, you have to rely on composing your images differently than you can with the zoom lens. Zoom lens, you can zoom in a little bit, zoom in all the way. I mean, there's a lot of positives that you can grab from a zoom lens, but if you really want to learn the art of that lens, I've had that lens on that sucker, on that R5 for quite a long time. I still shoot with it. I actually own a 24-70 right here, which I'm filming on right now. But for some reason, I still go back to my 50mm just because it has a 1.2, just because of the bokeh. I get amazing bokeh in my 2.8. But for some reason, I'm just so used to my 50mm, I'm always referring back to my 50mm. So that's the reason why I believe that the 50mm lens Should be in everyone's kits. Should be one of the favorites. Should be chosen almost every single time. I know I talked with a buddy of mine and he was like, I love my 85, I love my 35. That's great. But at one point in your career, you've had the 50 millimeter and you use that sucker almost the whole time. It's just a great versatile lens. I mean, yes, once you start diving into other different types of photography, weddings and fashion work, correct. You can't use a 50 millimeter the whole time. But when you're starting out, definitely the 50 millimeter lens is probably one of the best investment lenses out there. And that is why I choose the 50 millimeter as my top, do I say it? My top pick for my kit. I'm always gonna put, so far I've always put my 50 millimeter in my kit every single time wherever I go. I've rented lenses. I rented a 7200. I have a 35. I have the 35 1/8. Yeah, I have the 35 1/8, but this sucker barely ever comes out to play. I was gonna use this thing more so on videography. Oh, you can actually shoot videography on the 50 millimeter. Oh, I do it all the time. I barely use this sucker. I don't know why I even bought it. I bought it for video, but I don't use it for video. I bought the 16 for video, but I don't use it for video. My 50 millimeter is always on there. I shouldn't say always. Majority of the time it's on there. So if you already have one or plan on purchasing a 50 millimeter lens, drop it in comments down below and tell me that you have one and tell me what you shoot. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications for more Mr. Gray photography, more behind the scenes. I'm gonna try to do more content like this, showing you like what's in my kit, what's my favorite kit, what I've shot with. But anyways guys, see you guys in the next video. Peace.